Hey, Adam,
Jeez,
one
why,
thing.
why do you think they called bumpers scary?
I don't know.
Because they come at the beginning, at the end, like bumpers.
Alex, you're a marketing guy. Do you like that design behind Paul? Does that sweet logo thing look pretty cool to you?
Hey, I forgot to hit the record button.
That's really professional, isn't it?
Well, this is a professional podcast.
I met her in a parking lot and was handed 2 little Yorkies. And the only person I knew that knew Yorkies was Paul. So I called Paul.
Sweet Talk is a weekly 20-minute podcast brought to you by the Continuing Education and Workforce Training Division of Idaho State University's College of Technology. Find us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and SoundCloud, and subscribe today. Now it's time to get started with Sweet Talk.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sweet Talk, our kind of semi-weekly podcast here at Continuing Education Workforce Training. I am Paul Dickey. I'm the apprenticeship coordinator here at Sweet. And joining me, as always, is Angie Wilhelm, our marketing director. Angie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. It's unusually warm here in Idaho. I think we're supposed to hit in the 50s again today. And it's beginning of February, so that's quite nice. Hopefully we'll get some snow.
We're hitting 59 today.
Yes, 59 degrees today. I didn't even bring my coat into the office. And we still have a Snapdragon outside our office. We've been keeping an eye on. It's our winter science experiment. But other than that, I'm doing really, really well. Happy there's some sunshine. Excited about today's podcast, Paul. Who are we having on as a guest?
So today, I practically begged Michael, please come on my podcast. Michael Haney, who is the clinical professor for industrial cybersecurity in the ESTEC department. The ESTEC department is the Energy System Technology and Education Center here at Idaho State University. Michael, welcome to our podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. This is great.
No, great. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Michael?
Right. Well, sure. That's the first question I should know. Where do you start? I think in the late 90s, I finished with a college degree. I thought I was going to be a teacher and got into technology because people were buying these Windows 95 and 98 computers and getting on this thing called the internet. And that was exciting. And I thought that would be more fun and more lucrative than teaching, to be frank. So I jumped in a whole hog into technology and hopped jobs around until I landed in a place that got hacked while I was there kind of live. And I was hooked on security. So since the late 90s, I've been doing something around security, which I try to keep coming back to because now I'm kind of an AI professor. And that's like, well, how'd that happen? I'm interested in technology. I'm interested in puzzles. I'm interested in solving problems and tinkering with things and making stuff and seeing how it works. And I see the value of teaching that to other people because there's technology everywhere. So, I won't bore you with the details of 30 years, but I've been a lot of places. I've worked at a lot of companies. I've done a lot of big and small projects, a lot of banks that got hacked, a lot of reports that I wrote that I don't think anybody read, and kind of got burned out on travel and consulting and that kind of thing, and went back to graduate school. And also, at the same time, back in about 2010 or so, realized that things were shifting from, robbing banks, because that's where the money is, to messing with things that are all being controlled and connected on the internet, and seeing priority shift. I saw customers and stakeholders take it a little more seriously than their bottom line, and paying attention to we really need the lights to stay on. It's required for us to have the lights to stay on. And so, the game changed a little bit, and I got out with more like-minded people and went back to school and I was fortunate enough to be offered a job here in Idaho Falls 10 years ago to be jointly appointed with the Idaho National Laboratory in the Cyber Integration Center. I was with the University of Idaho Computer Science Department and doing, computer security, but really security, cybersecurity, personnel security, physical security, risk management, more than just computers, I think. And then as things have shifted in the last couple of years, AI is everywhere. So it's like we need to figure out what this is all about. We need to start making offerings about it. And I dive in because I don't wholeheartedly adopt. I'm not an early adopter. I'm not like a, yay, technology is going to solve all our problems. I'm usually the guy who's like, technology is going to end civilization. Like, we're going to have a robot apocalypse if we're not careful. So, but with that caution, I like to proceed and build stuff and tinker. And so I've been lucky enough to join Idaho State in the last, this fall as a clinical professor. I'm with the College of Technology, focused on teaching, focused on applied science and engineering, focused on skills and workforce development, focused on helping. I'm really focused on helping teachers. I think that we need to improve the pipeline for high schools, middle schools in Idaho, because there's so much opportunity now, and the costs have come down, and the technology is available. Idaho kids deserve these shots at these cutting edge, high paying jobs, because you don't have to move to Silicon Valley, right? Which no one can afford anyway. You can do these jobs from literally anywhere on the planet and maybe in space, and so I want to help with that. So solving security problems, and over the years led me to looking at national security issues, critical infrastructure issues, cyber physical systems, and AI is being adopted widely in industry, in defense activities, and law enforcement, but in shopping, and in water treatment, and in traffic control, and the way we get our groceries. Like, it's all getting connected and converging in a really revolutionary way. So I say I'm a security guy. I'm interested in security. I'm interested in puzzles and tinkering and building things. I'm interested in understanding what's the worst that can happen if we plug this thing in.
Yes.
Right. And that question has served me well for 30 years. And I'm pretty good at asking and answering it, or getting other people to think through that process. So does that answer it in a nutshell? I've been a lot of places.
Yeah.
But now I'm an AI professor. So
and when you bring up cybersecurity, it's funny because I would imagine like 10 years ago, most people would not have even known the term cybersecurity. But nowadays, cybersecurity is like on everybody's mind.
Yeah.
I think everyone feels vulnerable when they just go online nowadays.
20 years ago, and when I started, it was I don't want to say cutting edge necessarily. It wasn't brand new. The internet was there, and there were problems and concerns. The more people that got connected, the more interesting things happened. But I spent a lot of time trying to convince people, hey, cybersecurity is important for everyone. It's important for your business. Well, no one cares about my business off in small town Midwest America. I'm like, yeah, but you have a computer and it's connected. And that's a resource that people might want to steal to do things like spam or, attack other countries, for crying out loud. And things have developed quickly, and everybody's pushing things to the cloud. So it's sort of offloaded all this stuff. But for me, the cloud is like a dark and stormy cloud. It's kind of a scary place that I'm not sure what's going on there. Not to say that the people who are running cloud businesses don't really know what they're doing, but they're under a lot of attack, constant scrutiny and attack, and poking and prodding from everyone, because they're holding a lot of valuable eggs in their baskets.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a list of people, their customers' names has and email address is incredibly valuable to a hacker. That and just to steal that.
Yeah. So from trying to convince people that this was an important thing to take seriously to now. Everyone, moms at soccer games saw a news article last night, and they're like, you do security, don't you? What's that like? And how bad is it out there? And I'm just like, don't ask, you'll lose sleep. It's gotten pretty bad.
So I have a question.
Sure.
I think that sometimes people still get computer programming and cybersecurity a little bit mixed up. So can you take a moment to talk about the differences and that what someone may learn to do within your particular program that you instruct for?
Okay, that's a fair question. It's also dangerously, I may go on and on because we throw these terms around, like people are misusing the kind of AI term right now. But for me, there's a big umbrella of what I would consider cyber, and not just cybersecurity, but the cyber adjective. The cyber adjective means that you've got stuff in the world that has some kind of processor, some kind of microelectronics that does some thinking, and if then, not super intelligent thinking, but at least some responsive, I measured a thing, it's over a certain temperature, I turn on the other thing. It's smart. It's networked. Cyber means that it's networked and can talk to other things. So even though we have small devices, these tiny embedded computer things, they go off on the internet to talk to other bigger things and get processing help or data. And that's what makes it cyber. A cyber physical system is beyond just a computer that sits there with a keyboard. It's a thing that moves, it does stuff, it turns on light bulbs, so we start building, especially some of my toys, but we start building things. This is a city traffic system, essentially, and a couple of the other potentials. It's mostly light bulbs. And they're controlled by a cyber device, which is a microprocessor that runs a loop and says red, and then wait a while, and then green, and then wait a second, then yellow, and then red, right? Like it's programmed to do a certain thing. But then I can also make them flash and do random chaotic things because I can hack it, right? So cyber means that it's got some software, some instruction, and that's changeable, and that means it's hackable. So computer science broadly is about the science and engineering of all these things that we do, the algorithms, the math, the way we program. Programming that we teach is a technique. It's a language management. So it's, being able to speak the language of computers and getting things into computational instruction. There's computer engineering, which involves building some of these things with the wire connections and soldering and that kind of fun stuff. And there's a few different ways we're going to be doing AI. A lot of people right now consider the term AI, synonymous with the ChatGPT web interface, to be frank. Like it's the fastest growing, biggest adopted technology ever. And you log in and ask it a question, and it darn near sounds like it knows you and it knows what it's talking about. And you're like, wow, what just happened?
Wow.
But it's software crunching numbers, and it's making really good guesses of what the next word should be or what the next phrase should be, and it spits that out at you. And sometimes it lies or it makes mistakes. I don't know if it's malicious or not, but it makes mistakes. We call them hallucinations, but they're downright lies, right? Like wrong citations, bad numbers, incorrect math. It'll give me 3 things and go, and there are the 4 examples that you asked for. And I'm like, no, that's 3. And it'll give me the same 3. And he says, and that's 4 examples that you asked for. And I'm like, you don't know the difference between 4 and 3, right? So we're in this crazy time where the stupid computers are talking to us now and acting like they know what they're doing, but sometimes still make mistakes. Some people have adopted it wholeheartedly. Others are terrified. I'm probably more on this side of the spectrum in terms of risk, but, not to put my head in the sand about it and to teach people how to adopt it. So what do I teach? Well, programming is important. Scripting is important. It's more than just chat discussion prompt. I don't like using the term prompt engineering. I think that's overusing the word engineering. But how you manage a new employee or an intern is a good way to think of how you manage to discuss things and get instructions back and forth with your sort of smart, but sometimes crazy assistant, right? Your software assistant, the AI stuff. I'm also interested in how we apply those things in the cloud or on the what we call the edge, the localized computer stuff. And then what are the security issues, the integrity issues, the authentication issues, regulatory compliance issues. There's lots of stuff there that I study. Is that programming? I use programming. Is it AI? I use AI. Is it engineering? Kind of, but sometimes it's more art than science. And it's about finding gaps and understanding how technology impacts a system, a community, a customer base, or a company beyond the intended impact, right? Beyond the intended, we wrote this software to do this thing, but also this software opened up this avenue of attack and leak and negligence and problems and things that arise from technology.
That's a lot of information to digest.
Right.
So here's the thing: if I was a potential student and I was considering taking your program, if you were kind of concisely tell me this is what we're going to teach you, in a kind of like summary way, what would you be teaching me for cybersecurity, industrial cybersecurity?
For industrial cybersecurity, right? Like we got to be specific because there's so many different roles and they're related and they're overlapping. And everybody needs a little bit more security sense and hygiene, what we call digital hygiene, washing your hands after, before you eat. It's like changing your password once a month. Like you got to just do this. And that'll help everyone. So awareness is part of it. But in industrial cybersecurity, it's beyond a regular cybersecurity program. What does a cybersecurity program teach? It's technical. It is a bit of scripting and basic programming, but not necessarily software engineering. If you want to really love the programming stuff, be a computer scientist or a software engineer and take secure coding classes, right? And those overlap with us. If you're building an industrial system, there's a lot of networking, there's a lot of communications, there's wireless and wired. You can take a networking path, but we do cover networking in the industrial cybersecurity program. If you want to do mechanical engineering and be in the field turning wrenches and screwdrivers, building things, we've got all kinds of programs for that. We've got robotics, we've got other things, but you'll do some of that with us as well. If you want to take cybersecurity from a business perspective, we've got an MBA program for managing policy and compliance and other things. Some of our classes overlap with that one as well, because you need to understand risk management with policy, how you implement technology in a particular way that lets users do or not do certain things, right? So there's a little bit of that as well. So industrial cybersecurity is a very multidisciplined approach to how you manage, let's say, a small process like a pump or a valve or a thing that runs. It could be in the ag sector, it could be in healthcare, it could be in energy production. We focus on energy systems, but there, again, lots of overlap, lots of qualified, jobs that you'd be qualified for. And you get to tinker with a lot of things. And in our program, because of that industrial focus, there's tons of lab time, there's hands-on stuff. We don't just sit and read PowerPoints about security issues. We go tinker, we build stuff, we break stuff, we try to fix it and show how to not let it get broken again. So yeah, so we carve out some stuff and we touch a lot of things, right? We really do touch a lot of things, and it's an intense program. But we've got a 2-year program. We've got a cyber physical systems 3-year bachelor's program. We're building, and then my program, the new AI stuff is a certificate. Right now, it's a 3-course certificate. I'd like it to be 4 courses, but about 9 to 12 hours of credit that can be essentially added on to any of these technical degrees. So if you're in the robotics program, take robotics plus an AI certificate, you can do AI robotics. If you do industrial cybersecurity and you take the AI program, I'd like that capstone to be about AI for security, right? One of the requirements is a capstone, and we apply AI to a problem, right? Not just AI. If you're interested in artificial intelligence as a discipline, go be a computer science major, right? Or a new AI major that is coming up in schools like ours and others across the country. Because if you want to do the algorithms, the math, the computational focus, the finding the things that have happened recently that are so amazing are almost small. There's an algorithm called backpropagation. Backpropagation changed the world, right? It makes neural nets do these magical things. They learn, right? But that's essentially a math trick. And there are other math tricks to be discovered, and people should go work on those too. So there's jobs for data scientists. There's jobs for researchers. There's jobs for professors. There's still a few professor jobs while the schools, still serve a purpose. But what we really need a lot of, I think, are AI operators and AI engineers, people who can implement technology into their family business or their major corporation or their government agency, right? And so if you want to be AI, more than AI aware, or like everybody's going to start using chat. Like if you haven't yet, you're going to start falling behind, to be honest. Like we all need to be comfortable with these tools. It's like calculators. We still want to teach math to kids. We still want them to understand. And programming. Programming is going to be done by computer now. Like the computer will write the program. But we still need programmers to understand the code, to understand what's happening, where the bugs might be, where there's mistakes. I've had it write a bunch of code for me. It's magical. But it makes mistakes, and you have to copy and paste and say you missed a comma and the whole thing didn't compile, and it's, what the heck is going on? If I didn't know the programming language, I couldn't help. I wouldn't have recovered. So we need people who know how the systems run, how to operate them safely and in compliance, how to keep them on the rails because they do their own thing and they come up with their own ideas, and sometimes they go nuts, right? Like sometimes they start saying things that are really like, should we unplug it now? So we need to teach some operators, some technicians, and some engineers for all kinds of fields how to use data management and network security and authentication and AI tools to assist processes and and those kinds of jobs are just getting started and defined. They're not going away. We don't even know what they look like exactly yet. So,
Wow.
yeah. Again, I know sometimes you got to cut me off. I had a lot of coffee.
No. I was going to ask you about demand next, and you actually just went right into it.
Well, right. And the demand is just now creeping up. I think it's going to be crazy. I think it's going to be every company is going to realize at some point, like they did when in the 90s, really, the dot-com boom was about, oh, could we use the internet for advertising? Can we get online and reach customers? Could we track, these things that hadn't been thought of before? What can you use the internet for? Mostly argue with people about your opinions. Like that's been on since the very beginning, right? In the 70s, we called them news groups. That's a little predates me, but we used news groups before tweeters and X's and all the other things come. And now the internet's used for, I want to say literally everything. It's used in all aspects of life, and it feels natural, but you don't have a major in internet, right? Like you don't have a major in calculator. We don't see slide rules anymore.
Right.
This was my point earlier. Like we still want to teach math. You got to know if you put in garbage, you're going to get garbage out. You want to know that if you punch a bunch of numbers into the calculator, it always gives you an answer. But, is it the right answer? Did you put in the right numbers? So we still need people to drive those tools and use them well, smartly. And so it's sort of become integrated into the fabric, right? Every student has a laptop, essentially, almost. And eventually every student will have an AI assistant in their learning, and every employee will have various levels of different kinds of artificial intelligence software doing parts of their job for them, with them, helping them, checking them. They will be checking. We're in a world of we got to figure out human computer partnership stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
Hey, Michael,
okay.
We are running out of time.
Yeah.
But if someone was
It's so
interested
quick.
it goes by so quick. But if someone's interested in enrolling into the industrial cybersecurity program, how would they find some information about that? Also, you've mentioned that you're going to start an AI program.
Yes.
When that might start?
That's starting in the fall. It's going to be official. It's brand new. The State Board of Education approved it. I got word the other day. So we have to go through a process of making sure our programs are aligned with industry and that the jobs make sense and that the things are there. If we propose a new program, we have to kind of justify it. We've done all that now. And so we've already been offering classes, but starting in the fall, you'll be able to sign up for the course sequence that gets you an advanced technical certificate from College Technology. I would send folks to isu.edu/industrial cybersecurity, all one word. And that gets into the college technology programs. You'll see links in the banners to all the other things that we do: robotics and mechanical, nuclear operations, civil technologies, lots of overlapping things, lots of classes that we like to try to share and implement, broadly, scripting and networking and IT systems and stuff. So the AI program that we have right now will evolve because the stuff is changing. And we're going to try to, that's my job, keep up and offer what makes sense for employers to hire, for students to get the skills they need, for workforce to get retrained and upskilled, right? That's hugely important right now. Yeah. And these are all things, so you don't necessarily have to enroll in a full degree program. You can take a certificate classes, and we're going to offer them online as well. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for being on today. You gave me a lot to chew on.
There's some things we should do in the follow up. There's a lot to chew on, right? There's a lot
to chew on. And like I said, I think cybersecurity is becoming, it's not becoming less important. It's becoming more and more important. I think every time you give your information to a website, you are at risk. And those websites and the companies out there need these type of services to make sure that they try to keep their customers' information safe.
Yeah, and it's a team effort, right? Because even I can teach you a lot of things about security, but not an organization needs good lawyers and PR. They need good management and board people level educated about what they're doing and how they're doing it. They need the IT folks to do what they do, but they don't always have the big picture, right? They don't always have, everyone's interests at heart when they're plugging things in or setting default passwords and things like that. Some companies collect lots of data. They don't know what they're going to do with it yet. And I hate to say that they're just all evil, but some of them are just like, well, we installed microphones in all the teddy bears. Why? Well, I thought it might be neat to learn how kids talk to the teddy bear. That's creepy, right? Like it's so we need non-technology folks focused on ethics, right? And not just programming. And we need focus on business and compliance. And you need a lot of skills really to keep up. There's a lot of things to know about and expertise in a few things. We'll put you through a whole degree program for that. But come take an AI fundamentals class with me, and I'll teach you how, kind of the back end of ChatGPT works and how you can build your own. I didn't even mention the box behind me, but how we can build your own local kind of AI to be an assistant. And I'm just getting started, but
Awesome.
the future's here. It's exciting.
Michael, I think we need to have you back again because there's just so much to do, and 20 minutes is just not enough to go through all of it. So
yeah, we'll do.
I know you're working on an AI project, and as you get further advanced, I'd love to have you on just to talk about your AI project.
Yeah, we're building some stuff at ISU on campus and for the schools, and this one's more or less mobile, and it's going to be pretty powerful. And we can show other people how to build their own, and that. That's where I'm going to be for the next, hopefully, couple of years. 10 years from now, I have no idea. I can't
exactly.
But over the next couple of years, there's a lot of fun stuff to work on.
Awesome. Hey, again, thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate it, and so much information. Thank you again. Angie, thank you as always for joining me, because I can't do this without you. Now, if someone wants to look into our offerings, you can visit our website at cetrain.isu.edu, or you can email us at cetrain@isu.edu, or call us the old-fashioned way, 208-282-3372. And let's everyone be safe out there.